still watching Prime Morning. It's time for us to delve into what the newspapers have for us. My guests are seated and poised for the conversation, and we know you at home are doing the same. Just like we always do, sending your messages to us, we will definitely read it. You know we did it yesterday, and so when we promise we'll deliver, we'll do same today too. So sending your messages early, we need it. We need it to be sent early. Anti-LGBTQ plus bill is up again. We thought the issue was dead when we heard of Doomsaw and, some scarcity of water in certain areas. Little did we know that it was going to pop up again. And it popped up yesterday when the Office of the President wrote to Parliament to tell Parliament to hold on to presenting the bill to President because of an impending injunction that had been applied in court. And now Parliament, that is Honourable Idrisu, is actually saying that this is unacceptable. I know Stallone is looking at me. You haven't seen it? You have? You've heard what Honourable Haruna Idrisu said?
He's a colossus in...
Okay, well, Honourable Haruna Idrisu says that if anybody will address Parliament, it should be President himself and not the Secretary. And secondly, this injunction has not been passed yet, so there is no injunction yet. It's only in court. Hence, the President still has time to go ahead and assent his signature on the bill. However, AG is also advising the President to hold on and assent his signature on it when the whole process is over. We'll be talking about that, but let's hear your voice on this particular issue this morning. Also, since it's election year, we know the NDC has a lot of promises. Let's look at 2016, where we heard of one district, one factory. We heard of one community, or should I say 1 million, one constituency. Good. It was 1 million, one constituency. We heard of free SHs. We heard of so many promises. And some have been fulfilled. Others are still ongoing after 7 years. And there's been a lot of questions here. Now we know the flag bearer for the NDC, that's John Dramani Mahama, has also started making his promises. Is it one too many a promise? All the promises are achievable. He's spoken to the Okada riders, promising them, electronic motor cars and all of that. He's actually spoken about the fine tech, where he's going to invest $50 billion in fine tech. He's spoken about building a certain number of hospitals when elected into power. Can he do it? Or is just one too many? We'll talk about that as well. My guests are here, like I said earlier. Stallone is here, who is representing the NPP. Hello, Stallone. How are you?
I'm blessed.
It's good to have you here.
As usual.
You're looking good, though. Your girls have started watching, eh? Since you started, it's like your market go up.
Market there.
Nyarko represents the NPP this morning. Representing the NDC this morning is Adel, Umar, Ibrahim. Hi, Adel.
Hi, Roselyn.
How are you? You've been sandwiched. I don't remember the last time they sandwiched you.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. seven breakfast. Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful morning, except for the things that happened yesterday. It's a good morning. And Ramadan is still in place, so I'm as calm as I can be. Yeah, we've met a couple of times in the studios, so I know.
Right.
So,
and we have Aryi, Opare, who is representing the movement for change. Hi, Aryi.
Yes, hi.
How are you?
Very well.
I told you look familiar. I don't know where I know you from, but I know you somewhere.
Now we can catch up after the show.
Yeah, definitely. Right. We'll do that. Anyway, let's quickly delve into what the newspapers have, and then we go into our topics for today. I'll start off with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The Ghanaian Times newspaper just spawned VinFast strike a big electric car deal poised to distribute a wide range of vehicles in African markets. AG advises President to hold on to assenting to LGBTQ plus bill. 90% of businesses affected by COVID-19 back to business. And anti-LGBTQ plus bill, presidency stops Parliament from transmitting bill, but Haruna Idrisu disagrees. Professor Edubuahin's son killed by gunmen, one suspect grabbed. And this is quite sad, I actually heard of this story 2 days before. So it came out yesterday, but I heard of it on Monday. It happened, I heard of it on Monday. And to hear that he was killed and nobody knew that he was killed until the body started decaying. And I'm like, what? Anyway, let's do some sports. Graphic Time Sport. Ghanaian Time Sports. South Africa didn't follow due process. AHF president says so. Rosie Aboa grabs high jump gold for Ghana. That's good. Congratulations to Rosie Aboa. Dreams FC draws soccer intellectuals in FA Cup quarterfinals. And 13 players report to Black Stars camp. Woohoo! That's great. That's the Ghanaian Times. Congratulations, Ghanaian Times. Yesterday, I was not too happy with one of the newspapers that keeps reporting only international football or only international sports when you are a Ghanaian newspaper. And so Ghanaian Times, congratulations on reporting our, sports. Thank you very much. The New Finder newspaper is the next newspaper, The New Finder. Samira Baumia's influence on Ghana's fashion industry, a legacy of pride and tradition. Varsities lament hitches to academic work caused by internet service interruption. And of course, almost everybody has been affected by it as well. Let me see this. GAF to plan 2024 Green Ghana Day commemorative tree on June 7th. And South Africa quitting hockey, not justified. Africa Hockey Federation says so. And that will be all for the New Finder newspaper. I'll do the Economy Times newspaper next. The Economy Times. BOG likely to hold policy rate. Rise in crude oil and geopolitics. Tension threaten disinflation path. And reckless spending cause of Ghana's economic woes. Not only COVID-19. This is coming from Kweku Kwating. And the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. The Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. AG cautions the Kufuor not to sign anti-gay bill. This is our main topic for today, actually. Africa Hockey Federation blasts South Africa for withdrawing from hockey competition. Government to plant 10 million trees in 2024. This is coming from Nyarko. It's quite surprising that when South Africa, the hockey team from South Africa, withdrew from the games, no newspaper reported it. But when they were blasted, every newspaper is covering it. Wow. What a shock. When they withdrew, nobody reported. When they were blasted, now it is banner headline.
They don't have light in their country. They come here and want to come and talk about stuff.
So they should have, if you want to report all across. Don't be partial. If they withdrew on Tuesday or Monday, report it on Monday. If they are blasted, you continue reporting.
Well,
that's... You're giving it banner headlines. Yet you're not actually...
Because people have been worried about the cynicism that we are approaching this whole African Games with. A lot of positives, but maybe they are tired. They are fed up with all of the negativity. The media, they've realized that we've made some positive gains with this All African Games thing. But people keep happen on all of the flaws. So the South African team, I think the rightful protesters have spoken.
The Daily Graphic newspaper. Police arrest Edubo and he murder suspect. The Just One distributes the VinFast e-cars in Africa. WASI calendar revised. Graphic business and Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting. Prioritize tourism in development agenda. Sector fetches $3.3 billion 2023. GTA CEO to government. Okay, so, wow, we went to IMF for $3 billion.
Yeah.
And this sector is fetching this in 2023.
How much?
3.3 billion.
See this?
US dollars.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So I'm going to read it again. Right? I know we talk about. So tourism fetched $3.3 billion in 2023. We've gone to IMF for $3 billion. And we've been given rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that the IMF boss even is saying that all inclusion, so president should be careful if he's going to assent his signature on the bill. Meaning that IMF is even threatening. for 3 billion, we are under threat. The Daily Guide newspaper is the final newspaper that I'm taking. The Daily Guide. Ghana Armed Forces helicopter crash lands. I know Adel will talk about this during what's trending. It was really trending yesterday. People were able to capture video of it, but good enough, there are no casualties. Stop sending anti-gay bill to president. And this is actually our main topic for today. Bolt nuts, thieves collapse ECG towers. Late Kiki B, CEO girlfriend freed, and one arrested over Ibrahim's son's murder. Let's see center spread where we have some entertainment. Kwame Eugene responding to treatment. We thank God for that. A Taste of Sin premieres on Netflix, and we are happy that we are seeing more Ghanaian movies on Netflix. Nollywood's Amechi Mogo begs for help, and he's a Nigerian actor, very popular Nigerian actor, and I don't know why it happens like this, but may God heal him. Dreams FC face Intellectuals in MTN FA Cup quarters. Okay, I'm excited. Hey, you know media works. Media is power.
Does.
Yesterday, the same newspaper didn't report a single story from Ghana Sports. I sat here and I said, why? Today, only Ghana Sports. Thank you very much. I am proud of you, Daily Guide. Thank you.
You do well by.
We need to push our own. Kobe Mainu swerves the Black Stars. Samia J. Jr. targets women's national team job, and Spurs Solomon offer is peanut disrespectful. Thank you so much for actually bringing on more Ghanaian sports stories. We are a Ghanaian newspaper. We need to promote our own. Thank you so much. Very grateful. Anyway, gentlemen, let's delve into our conversation for today. Right. Stallone is very poised for the conversation and regarding, but I will start with you. You are too poised for it, so I'll start with you. So I'll start with Adel. Adel, the whole anti-LGBTQ plus bill. Now, we know that the Muslim community has also said, they've added their voice to it, telling the president to go ahead and send his signature on this bill because it's a good thing. However, yesterday, the Office of the President wrote to Parliament to tell Parliament to, hold on. Actually, let me use the word hold on. Hold on. Because the case is still in court. There is a high possibility the injunction will be granted, even though it hasn't been granted yet. So they should hold on. They shouldn't put pressure on the president to sign the bill. Honorable Haruna Idrisu, from your side, disagrees with it. But what's your take on it?
Roselyn, a firm good morning to you once more, to Stallone, Nyarko, and then to Aryi once more. And to say a very good morning to the NDC fraternity, right from national all the way to the people at the branch level who are holding forth, this coming year's elections. Forgive me, it's it keeps getting to me every now and then, and we're in the month of Ramadan, so I try as much as possible to be careful with my choice of words. I wonder why it is a difficulty for us to just come to a conclusion on this topic. And it kind of bothers me that we have to keep going back and forth on a topic like this. Last time I indicated to you that this is not something we even have to be discussing, whether it should be accented to or not to be accented to, whether it should be passed or not to be passed. This is not the kind of conversation that you would want to have. Roselyn, I'm Muslim. The right to, religious practice. The United States allows the right and freedom, to associate yourself with any religion you want to. In the United States, you have about 1.1% of the population who are Muslims. That constitutes, as of 2020, that constitutes about 3.5 million Muslims in the U.S. Some who are born there, some who are Native Americans, who are Muslims. And in their religion, they're allowed to marry to 4. The United States says that even though they're going to be marrying a woman and another woman and another woman, it says you can't do that. Because per their constitution, it's supposed to be 1-to-1. So if you practice that right as a Muslim in the US, you're liable to jail. Then they say, but it's okay, for Ghana to allow for a man to be with a man and a woman to be with a woman. When you think about it, it just doesn't make any sense. Regardless of how you think about it, it doesn't make any sense. The president has told us, and you see, this president is an autopilot president on the things that he wants to do. The president is only moved or is seen to be following the law only when it suits him. When it doesn't, he doesn't pay attention to it. And we'll come to the issues of the law. But you see, Parliament has a mandate. If you take Article 93(2), and it reads, the legislative power of Ghana is vested in Parliament and is exercised in accordance with the Constitution. No person or body other than Parliament has the power to pass any measure with the force of law except by or under the authority conferred by an act of Parliament. So it's not in dispute as to who has the power to pass what. They've done their job. Their responsibility is, after they have done, is to pass it to the presidency. It is not for anyone anywhere to say that Parliament don't bring it. No, they're doing their job. We have, executive powers. Parliament is independent, judiciary is, the executive is. None of them supersedes the other.
Right.
The president doesn't have authority or power over Parliament. You see what I'm saying? So we have done our job. We're sending it to you. Again, what the MPP and the president, including Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, forget to remember is that this constitution of ours, of which we have all come to agree that we need something to guide our ways, has not indicated anywhere, and I'll be excited to see that this morning, has not indicated anywhere that the president can decide to say there's an injunction on the bill, so he's not going to sign it. None. But then let's come again to what is called an injunction. Roselyn, an injunction is issued by a court and by a judge. It constitutes an injunction when the judge makes a pronouncement on it.
And the pronouncement hasn't been made.
Okay. Constitute an injunction when the judge makes a pronouncement. So pretty much, if you are now litigating over any land, anywhere, anytime, and you happen to go to court, you go and you get an injunction, and you serve that injunction on me to prevent me, because it is in that injunction, and that pronouncement, and that judgment, that the judge would indicate that I am restraining you from doing A, B, C, D, E, until the merits of the case has been listened to. On what basis do you say you're not signing when you have heard that someone has filed an injunction? Okay, what if it goes to court and the judge throws it away? So you wait. That's the idea. You wait. The injunction goes to court. Once it goes to court, until the case is heard, you do not say that you don't have the power to sign it. But you see, there's something that is critical, and that is why I keep saying that there's none of the laws. If you take Article 106, 7, 8, and you come all the way to 10, let's ignore 9. Article 7 says something categorical. Where a bill passed by Parliament is presented to the President for assent, shall signify within 7 days after the presentation to the Speaker that he assents to the bill, or that he refuses to assent to the bill. So you have only two options. Either you are assenting or you are not accenting. You have to write to Parliament and tell them, I am either accenting it or I'm not accenting it. And then he says that unless the bill has been referred by the President to the Council of State under Article 90 of this Constitution. So other than that, if you are signing, you sign it. If you're not signing, write to Parliament. Okay?
Let's not forget that.
Right.
It's in court.
We'll come to the issue of it being...
Once it's in court, we cannot ignore the fact that somebody has taken the case to court. Yes, we can go ahead and say, oh, the injunction has not been placed on it yet. That makes sense. But it's in court.
So?
Yes.
The president.
No, so because what you're reading.
Yes, I'm bringing you.
And this would have made more sense if it wasn't in court.
Roselyn, I'm bringing you. The Constitution has not indicated to you that when Parliament passes a bill and is supposed to pass it on to the President for assent, the Constitution is silent on whether there is an injunction or no injunction the President has to sign or not to sign. And I'm saying that even if we come back to the issues of what an injunction is, as we speak, there is no injunction.
Right.
It's a basic knowledge.
Application for
please. Application is not an injunction.
Yeah.
It's not an injunction. Application is not an injunction. If you submit an application, doesn't mean it's injuncted.
Yeah.
In any case, there are so many times applications have gone and been thrown out.
Continue.
Oh, wait. In 2020, I'll give an example. In 2020, when the NDC filed a petition by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, in court, in the Supreme Court, the highest land of the land, of the land, in 2020 to restrain the swearing in of His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo. I'm coming. The swearing of Nana Akufo-Addo in 2020. It was filed. The injunction was not granted. Was he sworn in or not?
Oh.
Was he not?
Really?
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Really?
So the argument moves away from the fact that, listen, the president is simply following those same principles he indicated before, which is what? Which is the fact that it is bound to happen. But you see, the mistake he's doing is that he actually thinks, the president actually thinks that he's protecting those people, if he believes. And we know. Why? Those involved in LGBTQ. And I indicated to you the last time that we met here that, look, there are family members from him, from his side, who are involved in this. So for perhaps to him, he feels that this is...
Can you imagine?
Roselyn,
That's not it, because we know the case is in court, Adel. We know the case is in court.
Roselyn.
AG has advised that looking at all the legal proceedings, he should hold on. And so that's not what it is, actually.
Roselyn, I'm coming. Okay, so let's do this, okay? We're guided by rules and regulations, right?
Yes.
Okay. His Excellency the President, he's a human being, right? You and I, are we goats?
We are all humans.
We are humans, right?
Same with the people who are part of the LGBTQ
Yes,
community.
we are humans, no problem.
Yeah.
Plus the LGBTQ people, we are all humans, right? Okay. And then we say we have a constitution, we're supposed to bind all of us into doing what we ought to do. The president chooses when to use it and when not to use it.
Okay.
And I'm telling you that he chooses to use it when he wants and when it suits him, and then decides not to use it, when it suits him. It doesn't make any sense. I'm saying that even if the Constitution is saying categorically that do not assent to something like this, is this the kind of conversation we're supposed to be having?
Anyway, let me bring Stallone in. Stallone?
Rosie.
Yes, sir, Stallone.
You see, when it comes to these matters...
They're sensitive.
Very sensitive matters. And the posturing of the political elites is why we are never able. He was bemoaning why we've never been able to make headway on this matter. It's because of some of these things. We've sat here and made very serious allegations that members of the president's family are engaged in this act. How do we make headway when you take this route? Let me tell you, and I've said this here, I'm very passionate when it comes to this thing. This penchant by political actors to dramatize and politicize these matters. It's why we don't go anywhere. And people are looking at us and they laugh. When we come here and we speak, they look at us and they're asking questions that are these the same people speaking. You could see the passion with which he's speaking, pretending as though somebody has deliberately set out to. He used the word that the president is trying to protect members of the LGBT community. Of course, even criminals are Ghanaians. And the president, after swearing the oath of office, is mandated to protect every Ghanaian. Please. And I take these matters very seriously. If you want to take us on this route, we are going to go there. And Roselyn, I'm not going to hold any bars on this platform. Let me start out. Every sentiment against this seeming attempts by some people to get LGBTQ and its issues into our moral and our situation. Every sentiment against it for me, and that is the premise of my argument, is very valid. All of the Ghanaian people who have risen up in arms, shouting their voices hoarse, that we don't want this. This is not who we are. Very valid sentiments. Nobody can be dismissive of this. It is not surprising that the people's representative in Parliament on this matter have quite surprisingly, roundly supported a law that seeks to criminalize specifically the LGBTQ. So that is the first premise I want to establish. Second, all presidents of this republic have had the opportunity to state publicly what the stance of Ghana is on matters of homosexuality and same-sex marriages. None of them have deviated from this course, including President Akufo-Addo. President Akufo-Addo, time without number, has been categorical that it will not be under his watch or the watch of, it couldn't have been under the watch of his previous president, that same-sex marriage and homosexuality will be accepted. It is not a matter in doubt. So I think it's a matter that is settled already. all of our leaders...
What's the issue?
The issue here is the politicization, the character, the behavior of characters like Adel and his NDC.
Is that why the president is not signing?
I'm coming. I'll come there. You see, and when he takes us on this route of trying to rope in or politicize this matter, then we ask questions. Roselyn, the only time in this country that no mean a person than the highest president of the land has given us cause to worry about the actions of homosexuals and people engaged in same-sex marriage is when John Dramani Mahama was president. The only time. That is when a person occupying the highest seat of the land has directly been seen, and let me say it here, and I'm being seen to be involved with an internationally renowned gay activist. The only time it's happened
involved
under the fourth. Yes, Undue Solomon.
He was involved with what?
And let me wait. Undue Solomon.
What was he involved in?
July 10th, 2012. 2 weeks before the death of Professor Mills. And you see, when I come here, I say this with all of the passion.
Say what you're saying.
Yes, July 10, 2012. John Dramani Mahama, then vice president, 2 weeks before Professor Mills died, flew to New York to launch a book he had dubbed My First Coup d'etat. 2 weeks after a man who is your boss, and per constitution, immediately the man passes, you take over. Which you can liken to a coup d'etat situation.
Did God tell anybody that he was going to die in 2 weeks?
That's a question for John Mahama.
No, it's a question for you. You are saying what you're saying. Because if you're saying that he traveled 2 weeks prior to the man's death, as if he knew that the man was going to die in 2 weeks.
I'm not in a position to say.
It's what you're saying.
He went to launch a book titled... Roselyn.
So this is the point I'm making, Stallone. Whether he went 2 weeks prior to the man's death, a day prior to somebody's death, there are people that they leave home in the morning and they die on their way. People are driving, they get heart attack. People are driving, they get accidents. People sleep, they don't wake up. So you cannot tell.
If you allow me,
I will allow you. I will allow you, but I just don't want us to make it seem as though he knew the man was dying in 2 weeks and went to launch a book 2 weeks prior to that.
But that's what you said. I said no. 2 weeks before. I'm only making a matter of fact. I'm only stating a matter of fact.
Emphasizing on 2
Yes, because it is curious, very curious. That 2 weeks before a man you claim is a man you love so much, he says he is his mentor. That's how he described Professor Mills. 2 weeks before his death, you go to New York, go and invite an international gay rights activist, a man who has married a man.
See,
to launch a book.
If you want to make your point, he
went into areas where nobody has gone. I warned him.
Stallone.
I warned him that these are very delicate areas. Do not go there.
Stallone.
Come and sit on national television and accuse members of the president of being involved in LGBTQ.
I'm coming.
When your flag bearer is the only person in the history of this country.
You make your point. Wait. You make your point. My point is, yes, make your point without going into 2 weeks before. I have been very careful not to make any emphatic claims. Wait.
I'm only referring to statements. Did it happen?
Stallone.
Did it happen?
Stallone, listen to me.
Did John Mahama travel to New York to launch a book dubbed My First Coup d'etat 2 weeks before Professor Mills died? Did it happen?
Stallone, my point is, nobody knows when somebody will die. And so using that as reference as though the person knew the man will die. So you just say that the man traveled. So just give a date. Say that the man traveled.
I said 2 weeks before Professor Mills died.
Okay, make your point.
Let me make my point. Right. 2 weeks before he died. Let's not take this route of coming to make wild accusations. Wild, needless accusations. When the book was launched in 2012, My First Coup d'etat book, in 2013, same matter came up about the president's involvement, then President John Dramani Mahama's involvement with known gay lobbyists.
Who?
Undue Solomon, the same Undue Solomon. It came up in 2013. And you know what? He denied that he did not know him prior to the launch of the book. He denied. His spokesperson, Mahama Yarika, came to tell the whole of Ghana, me, John Dramani Mahama, did not know Undue Solomon before the launch of the book. And you know what happened? You know what it turned out?
What?
Quickly, Undue Solomon responded. And for me...
Do you have the proof? Just show me.
Oh, it's here. We can read about it.
Yeah, show me the
proof. When you finish, take your phone, Google...
You know the last time Adel made allegations, or I can't use the word allegation. Adel said what he said. He actually provided...
Please, I'm coming. I'm giving you evidence. Wait, please.
Yes.
in bed with the president of Ghana. Please.
Send me the link. Just send me the link.
Well, maybe I'll send it to you after. But please read it. In bed, your phone is right before you.
It's okay. Just
in bed with the president of Ghana, Andrew Solomon.
Send me the link. I'll open it. It's okay. We just have to make sure
it's an opinion. In bed with the president of Ghana.
Do you have my number?
I don't have
drop the link to me.
It is everywhere. Andrew Solomon. I've just opened it. In bed with the president of Ghana by Andrew Solomon. Look at the title of this opinion. In reaction to a public claim made by the president's spokesperson that I don't know Andrew Solomon, then this is how he responds. In bed. This is a man writing. In bed with the president of Ghana. Figurative. Yes, I agree. I will not go his line. Figurative. But then again, equally suggestive titles. In bed with the president. And go and read the substance. He says he met the president of Ghana, then president of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, at a wedding. And maybe you would want to read it. It has very interesting details. He says he met him at a wedding. Did not disclose whether it was a gay wedding or whether it was the normal weddings we do. And this is what he used. He said he immediately liked him. It is in this opinion, it's there. I liked him immediately. That is Andrew Solomon, the only man who we know publicly.
And what has that got to do with the president not signing the bill that is in Parliament?
I'm only trying to let you know.
I'm asking a question.
That if anybody wants to mount rooftops and then imply complicity of official...
Fair enough. You've used almost all your time.
John Dramani Mahama and his NDC on their propaganda.
My question here is that why is President not assenting to this bill?
I wanted to cure the mischief before I come here.
Let's go into this.
The president cannot decide without reason not to assent to any bill. You see, Roselyn, like you said, and like he's also said, Article 93 vests legislative powers in Parliament, that the only body that is mandated to make laws outrightly. But then again, in consonance with the dictates of the very constitution that is giving us that authority, that whatever laws you are making should be in line with the dictates of this constitution, should not be an affront to it. We are trying to create the impression that this is the only time a president or this president has had issues with a bill or with assenting to a bill. Just last year, I'm sure maybe people, or because of the political propaganda, people want to forget that just last year in December, the Criminal Offences Amendment Bill and then the Armed Forces Amendment Bill, after Parliament had passed this, went to the president. He wrote to them that he is unable to assent to it. I think
this has caused an uproar because it's not a matter of politics, but rather a matter of human rights, where there are people, almost everybody feels involved in it. When you hear voices calling on the president to sign this bill, you're not hearing only the NDC call on it. We are hearing religious bodies call on them. We are hearing, certain activists call on the president to sign the bill. And so it's not just about NDC, but we are making it seem as though it is a political party that is pushing the president to sign.
The posture of the NDC is what has necessitated...
We have the Muslim community telling the president to sign.
I've told you.
We've seen the Christian community...
You see the premise I said before I spoke, that all of the sentiments, all of the concerns ab initio are valid. They are concerns that every Ghanaian is worried about. And I gave you those instances.
All right, okay.
But let me finish. Maybe
please, you have just 30 seconds
let me
to land.
finish.
I want to go to Ni.
So we should move away from this attempt to politicize this.
When I'm having a conversation with you, I didn't go into NDC. I was having a conversation with you, but you decided to go on that route.
Because of where you started from.
Let me bring Ayi into it. Ni.
Right. So, Roselyn, greetings to all our viewers out there, panelists, yes, yourself. This is the first time we're meeting on
yes.
Yes, interesting, yes. I'll take a different approach to this issue, because I look at it outside of what we're discussing, because I believe, like Adel says, any serious country should not be debating this on a morning like this. We should be speaking about more productive issues.
Economy where we can make tourism give us the money that we don't need to go to
create more jobs, look at how we can fix our energy situation, and then the many things that are pressing, bread and butter issues, yes. Not someone's sexual preferences and all that. I take that stance. But I've realized people have a certain misconception about what this bill really is. Right? People don't understand, or there's a confusion that this bill is actually supposed to criminalize LGBT activities, not to pass it and make it legal. That's where the confusion I've realized people are making, yes. When you speak to people, they think this bill is actually going to pass and make it legal or make it normal, yes. But the bill actually seeks to criminalize those activities and practices, yes. That's what I want people to understand. But I've realized something that is coming up and people are not touching on. So I'll put the substantive issues on the side. Let's deal with the main issues. So governance in our democratic system is supposed to be in three arms: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, right? I've realized the most unrepresentative part of those three arms is the judiciary.
Yeah.
What I mean is, collectively, we vote as a bloc to elect our president. We do the same for the legislature, the members of parliament. But the only part that is not representative of the people is the judiciary, right? So you have the executive being appointed to office by the people. He then delegates his delegated authority to 9 people to take decisions on behalf of 30 million people. That is very undemocratic. And I think this is one of the things that we have to look at again when we always call for a new constitution. These are some of the issues that we try to highlight. That you cannot put the destiny of 30 million people into the hands of 9 people who have not been mandated by the people directly, but that it is delegated authority that has been delegated. These are the real issues that we should be looking at. So you find leadership of parliament speaking up against this, that the president cannot injunct them, and then there's this, back and forth musical chairs. What happened is, in the long run, you realize the real issues that are being looked at will be sidestepped, and then it'll just be this musical chairs we are playing with, who can do what, who cannot do this. And then you go back to the constitution, which is supposed to be the final say on this. The issues in there are not clear as to what happens. I saw Adel trying to make some connections with the point that it's not clear as to whether the president can assent to a bill, when it's being debated in court, yes. If he can assent to it before or after the fact, yes. These are some of the pressing issues that we need to take care of. So let's go away from LGBTQ issues. Let's look at other sensitive issues that may come up in the same light, that might need ascension by the president, but then will be debated in court over his legitimacy.
Because it starts like this.
Exactly. You see, so these are the real fundamental issues that we have to address. But then again, I've sat here and listened for about 30 minutes when no real progress has been made on this, but it's been the same banter as to who did what, who did this. And that is where we are as a nation today. For the past 32 years, since 1992, the beginning of this Fourth Republic, our nation has been run by the NPP and the NDC for 16 years apiece. What can any Ghanaian boast of and say we've gained as a people under the leadership of these two parties? It's very clear for all to see. If you look at, that's your second topic, I was just going to push everything into, because I don't know if, but then let me...
we'll have a bit of time, so...
Right, okay, right. So
we have about 35 minutes to go.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just going to measure up with the second, so I don't have to deal with all of this back and forth again. But yes, so if you look at these issues objectively and you ask Ghanaians to be honest with ourselves, for the past 32 years, what have we been able to achieve, right? To make matters worse, I saw Stallone tried to make some references to the positives of the All-African Games that are currently being held, yes. You see, the issue that South Africa raised is another indictment on our democracy, or our position as a bastion of democracy.
The hockey field?
The hockey field, yes. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Apart from where they're having the events, the games have, where the games are being held, look at our sports infrastructure across the country. Let's not even go too far. Let's stick with Accra. What is the state of all our sports facilities in Accra? If you look at the main national stadium in Accra, just there. What's the state of that stadium?
What will have to happen, yes. I'm going to have to stop you here,
right.
Is that when we pick topics, we try as much as possible to delve into that particular conversation, because that is what our viewers will be sending messages on. And so if we can stick to this whole anti-LGBTQ plus bill conversation, I'll be grateful. Maybe the next time we pick this hockey conversation, we can talk about.
Just in passing, I was just trying to establish a point that they've not been able to offer anything to Ghanaians. That's why I brought all of these things in here. And since that was present, yes. But to this issue, if government as a whole, the executive, legislature, and judiciary is supposed to be representative of the people, I think unanimously has been represented that the people do not accept these practices, right? That's supposed to be the baseline we're operating from. If that has been the sentiment or the position of Ghanaians in general, I don't think any arm of government can actually do anything that will be counter
what the people are asking, right? That is just basic.
But this is where we have the president saying that the matter is in court and hence we should put a hold on it. There shouldn't be too much pressure on him to sign.
Right.
His secretary has written to Parliament. And, Honorable Haruna Idris was saying is wrong. Do you think that his secretary should have written to Parliament?
Yes, but like I'm saying, even for these issues to come up, if everyone was supposed to do what the people of Ghana have asked for, this issue should not come up. It shouldn't be about what you want or what you think should go through. It's about what the people have demanded, right? So as to whether we should assent to the bill or not, I'm even struggling to find out how Parliament came about with this bill. Was it a broad consultation with the general people? And what were the means of getting the sentiments of Ghanaians? Is it that because they're acting on delegated authority, they felt we can take decisions on behalf of Ghanaians? But don't Ghanaians have a say
But
in
isn't
this?
that why they are there? You put them there to take decisions on your behalf.
But not without the consent of the people. That is where the line is drawn.
Yeah,
so
but
if it's a
why
democracy,
did you put them there?
yes, but I'm saying
You represent the people in Parliament.
Yes, but then how do you know that the decisions you made is actually representative of the people?
That you put your trust in them.
No, but that's why we have.
voted.
That's why we have referendum. So you see, on sensitive issues like this, that would have that strong value. You should always have the sentiments of the people or the wish of the people, and that's why.
So how do you do it? What do you put out a form for them to?
No, that's just touch on referendum.
Referendum.
So
okay.
So if it's going to, because people are raising human rights issues with these things, right? And I'm saying, so with sensitive issues as this, find out what the wishes of the people are, what the general sentiments of the people are, and that is how you craft your laws. So you don't just go make laws because you think that is what is going to serve the people. No, the ultimate law in the land today above the constitution is the wishes of the people. So if the people have decided collectively that this is a stance or a position that we've taken, I don't think any arm of government has that right to do anything that's counter that. So I'm saying I don't know the means with which Parliament arrived at creating this bill, but I'm saying this conversation that is coming up is as if, or I can assume that Parliament did not do broad consultation with the broad masses of the people, and that's why we're having some of these challenges. But then to ask my personal...
Again, let me clear this.
Right.
We don't have these challenges with the people. We're having this challenge with the president not assenting his signature to the bill. It is not about the people. Again, we have an individual who has taken it to court. No. So if you're talking about...
You didn't get my point then. I'm saying if the people of Ghana have taken the same position, none of the arms of government can do counter to that.
What position should they take?
The general population have rejected it, saying this is something that we don't agree with, right? So I'm saying that should be the baseline that we're operating from. So Parliament, if Parliament creates a bill and sends to the presidency, and the president is supposed to assent to that to make it criminal to practice those things, I'm saying if that is the wishes of the people, the president cannot do otherwise.
But that's the wish of the people.
No, but I'm saying, how do we know? Has there been any referendum that's been done? How do we... But you see, it's Parliament that has crafted this. But how do we know that what the bill Parliament has crafted...
So what do you want the people to do?
So I was coming to that,
okay.
yes. I wish you could make me flow on these things, yeah. So, I almost lost my train of thought.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So I'm saying if the people speak about an issue, but I'm going to speak on my personal position on this, yes. I do not believe that you should criminalize these things, sexual preferences, and take them to jail unless it was not a consensual activity. So what happens between two consenting adults, like I've said before, is their business, so far as it remains in the confines of their bedroom or in their privacy. But if it comes to a point where they try to impose those on the general public and get us to either accept or agree what they are doing, that is when it becomes a problem. Then people can share their opinions counter to it. But if it's going to be done in the confines of their room between two consenting adults, means there's no crime being committed, then I don't think it's any of our business. But this is what I'm saying. If it's the general stance of the Ghanaian people, culturally, that we don't accept these practices, I'm saying no arm of government can do otherwise to it.
But that's what the bill is, isn't it?
It's actually going to criminalize practitioners. Yes.
No, it criminalizes it. If you do it in your bedroom and nobody sees you, nobody cares about it.
Right.
But it criminalizes it if you do it in public.
Right.
It criminalizes it if you go ahead and you promote
it, yes.
Yes. Just don't flaunt it in the face of the people. Don't try and woo people into it.
Yes.
But if you do it in your bedroom, nobody cares about it. That's what the bill is.
Yes. So then you try to find out what the difficulty is, because if that's the general representation of the people, why is it difficult for the president to assent to the bill?
So that's where the issue is.
So I'm saying we have to look at the constitution, the structure of our governance. That you see, and imagine this. Imagine the Supreme Court accepts this, that the president cannot assent to it, right? What's going to happen is that 9 people who are not exactly representative of the general population would have taken a position or a decision that's going to be binding on the rest of the population.
Right.
Which doesn't seem fair. So I'm saying I would like to take the conversation to that level. Let's look at the arms of government and look at how representative it is of the people. If it truly is a democracy. And I don't think the judiciary as an institution or an arm of government is exactly representative of the people. That's how I take it.
Okay, all right. Adel, let me see if I have some comments. Do I have comments, please? Please project the comments for me as we project. Please go ahead and make your point as we look for our comments.
Roselyn, can I?
Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead, Adel.
Roselyn, that I am in bed with the president.
Adel, let's not.
No, Roselyn, it's important.
I think that
I'd appreciate if you allow me. No, you see, when statements like this go out, it is important that you clarify. So I would love to do this.
But it's going to lead Stallone to also reply.
That's fine. So then we can, we can talk about it.
No, but that's not what this is about. Please.
Roselyn,
let them spend their time.
No. I have to. Adel, I'm pleading with you, please.
Roselyn.
Adel, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm pleading with you.
Roselyn, but he's made a reference to an article, and I'm reading portions of the article for you, the same article. I'm only giving you portions of the article because he chooses what to read.
Okay.
And I want to show you that there's more to it.
Okay, you go ahead.
In the same article.
Just 30 seconds of that and then...
In the same article, Roselyn. Soon after the Ghanaian president Jonathan Mills died and John Mahama stepped into the presidency, in December he was elected to another term. 2 weeks ago, the Ghanaian press suddenly exploded with references to Mr. Mahama's relationship with me. Listen, he says, soon after, now they want to talk about my relationship with the man. Let me go for it. He says what?
You don't want to do
Oh, please. Can you please keep quiet? Like, out of respect.
If you continue doing
you don't want to do this.
I'll talk
Out of respect. What is that?
It looks like we have to do that. Yes.
When you're talking, I'm sitting here.
Please, I'll have to read some messages too. So, Adel, just a 30 seconds. Please.
And then he gave some of the headings. You know, I was reported to have paid 20,000, cedis for copies of the book, blah, blah, blah. He said, in confirmation hearing before Parliament, Mrs. Oyelita indicated that he and Solomon, that Ghana is not going to accept LGBTQ and blah, blah, blah. But then he was the one who sponsored John Dramani Mahama. He indicated that even the Oyelita you're talking about, I've never met her. And the fact that I went to launch a book for someone does not mean that I'm in a relationship with him. Why? Because he's bothered about the fact that he has a partner. And this is a man that respected. At the end of the day, he said, look, even though I have heard from other people who have sent me letters from Ghana, who have sent letters indicating that I'm gay and all of that, but we are struggling in Ghana and all of that, he feels that, yes, the people in Africa, this is what they believe in, and it's fine.
Okay.
How then do you go and then you're quoting other things?
Messages coming in. Hello, please, is Joy Prime not streaming live on YouTube? Because I have not been able to watch it for a week now. Oh, darling, you know the internet issue. So...
I have responses when you're done.
You know the internet issue, so please... Pardon us, okay? If NPP defending suffering is not, Ghanaians have decided already from Ablade Fiekuma Zongo says, I think Mahama is not promise and fail person. If he said he will establish university to the new created regions, he can do it as he says. This is coming from Ablade. Once again, good morning, Roselyn, and to your guests. I'm shocked to hear that the secretary to the president has written to Parliament informing the speaker not to transmit the anti-LGBTQ plus bill to the president. Like, seriously? The NPP government has decided to build NPP as a party and not building a nation, Ghana. Roselyn, you remember how the Supreme Court assisted the NPP to pass the e-levy? You remember how the NDC later raised some infractions on the Supreme Court ruling and subsequently sent the matter to the Supreme Court for further interpretations. Up to now, the Chief Justice is yes to empanel judges to look into the matter. You remember the NDC trying to injunct the AC from conducting the limited registration? What has happened to that matter? Our courts and our institutions continue to pamper this NPP government, and if care is not taken, one day the news wouldn't be good for all of us. We are all Ghanaians and must be treated equal before the law. We will never be allowed to be treated as third-class citizens in our own country, Ghana. Ajia Fatikuma Umoshi Zongo. Thank you, Ajia. Good morning, Roselyn. The president can ignore the anti-gay bill, but the Christian and Muslim community will show the failed driver and his mate red card on December 7th. So look at the man. So good morning, Joy Prime. The NPP government is just a monumental failure. I wouldn't want to say much. My only advice to the NDC is that they should be very vigilant before, during, and after elections. We are ever ready to do everything humanly possible to send this clueless elephant to the bush. Al Hassan Cisse Zenu says, good morning to you. If Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia are men enough, they should just state their position on LGBTQ plus bill and stop stop the comedy and gymnastics they are playing with Ghanaians. After Nana Akufo-Addo and Baolaya has succeeded in destroying our economic fundamentals and modernizing corruption and looting of state resources, they shouldn't destroy our country's dignity and values of our country's future. This coming from Honorable Akisme. He says, the beauty queen Roselyn, good morning. Good morning, Akisme. NPP leadership, they have no respect for the rule of law and constitution of Ghana. Majority of Ghanaians have indicated through parliament that they are in favor of anti-gay bill, but because of the money, NPP leadership is prepared to accept this subculture and immoral practice in our dear society. This is very serious. The president applies the constitution when it favors him, rejects the constitution when it doesn't favor him. The same constitution that brought him to power. Regards to Brother James Printing Press and all his workers, especially American lady inside Stitchery Bekwai. All right, thank you. Good morning to you. Advocating for unity rather than divisive ideas promoted by political and ideological parties is essential for fostering a more cohesive and productive society. By working together towards common goals and respecting the different perspective, we can create a more inclusive and equitable world for all. Let's prioritize unity over division and strive to build a better future for generations to come. Aaron Bebako Kokomisa. Good morning, Sister Rose and NDC members. Ghanaians who voted for NPP led by Nanado and Baumia are now crying for help. Despite all the watering promises, Nanado couldn't do any of the promises. Even free SHS is a scam. NAPCO is a scam. And planting for food and jobs is also a scam. Ghanaians shouldn't vote for Baumia, else the NPP government will initiate homosexuality in Ghana. Sister Rose, how far about Ghana beyond aid? We can't continue following failed governments like Nanado and Baumia. We need to boot out the wicked government in election 2024. Abochi Philip from Qatar. Good morning, Madam. Let Ghanaians pray for President and Vice President children for marriage animal. Okay, good morning, Roselyn. This is coming from Alaji Pig Farm, Hamza Pig Farm. Good morning, Roselyn. We should stop beating around the bush and speak the truth for once in this country. It's clear from the world that from day one, President Nanado and NPP has no respect for the good people of this country. The president has demonstrated to show from day one that he has no interest in the bill. Even the letter written by the secretary to the president, to the parliament, even failed to address a letter to the Speaker of Parliament. Mr. President should learn to respect Parliament. Truth be told, the future of this country and that this wicked, super incompetent government is pregnant and helpless. They always feel they know it all, but know nothing, all full of arrogant functionaries and communicators like Stallone in your studio. Oh, really? Oh, Charlie. Don't do that to my Stallone. Don't do that to my Stallone, please. Okay, good morning, Madam Host. I believe the president is doing the right thing. Signing a bill with such punishment clause is too harsh. And believe me, no president will sign such a bill while he or she is at IMF. Well, fact. Even President Mahama won't do that. Well, he's just talking plenty because he wants power. Hassan Cisse, Zenu Central, Roselyn, the NPP, RIP, or rep in your studio should respect we the abate by his statement. Why is he not reminding us what Nana Akufo-Addo told the BBC when it was asked about anti-LGBTQ plus issues? Is it not Nanado who said it's bound to happen? NPP guys should spare us. If Nana Akufo-Addo is not backing LGBTQ, he should just assent to the bill. All right, good morning to you, Madam, and your guests. Madam, we people from Tamale are so happy about the comments made by our great MP. In fact, he has spoken on behalf of the majority voters here in Parliament. Last election, he had 69,272 votes, which was 73.72%. So whatever he says carries some weight. Although some of NDC communication ignorantly still have some hatred towards our great MP, but my appeal to them is to relax and let's come together and fight the elephant. Madam Nanado will never sign this bill. Mark it. My regards to incoming MP for Mion Alaji, Miss Bow. Hey, the messages are a lot, too. I'll have to pause somewhere and then I'll come to you so we go into the conversation of NDC's promises. Good morning, Beauty. I'm really glad to see someone represent us from the movement for change. Okay, great. Ghana should rally behind this movement to end the duopoly for Ghana to work again. The NDC and NPP under the Fourth Republic has spent 32 years in governance and yet have nothing to show of it. The ordinary Ghanaian cannot feed thrice a day with no policies from these parties to remedy the situation. They have chosen to make Ghanaians slaves so they can manipulate for but their selfish interests. We will be more than glad if the NPP and NDC are not allowed to be on programs like this and let the so-called good work they claim to have done talk for them, but rather the new party, so they will be heard by Ghanaians to make decisions to end the duopoly. Thank you, George Traitor. Okay. The same Sam George who is defending... Good morning, Roselyn. The same Sam George who was defending the former president, JDM, also stated that what will be the use of anti-LGBTQ to the watches seller on the street. He also said Ghanaians are suffering and the welfare of the country is what we need to focus on. Today he comes back to politicize critical issues. This is coming from Sylvia. Good morning. I sometimes wish I could talk to this young MPP guy. He talks like someone who is... okay. Good morning, Roselyn. The President, Akufo-Addo, has murdered the Constitution of Ghana. And as a Ghanaian, I feel worried. This is the President who has appointed many MPP members into very sensitive places in Ghana. And the so-called neutral voices are very quiet. I only pray this country does not burn after the election. As for the MPP guy talking, he thinks speaking English makes you... Hey, okay, I wish my daughter Lodina Beduwe a happy birthday. She turned 4 yesterday. Isaac. All right, so let me go back to the studio to have a conversation with my guest. I'll come back and I'll read this one. So, boss, hold on for me. Big Alaska. Okay, so 2024 election year. Hey, Facebook messages. Oh, hold on. I'll go to Facebook and read the messages. I asked for the messages. The messages, hey, now you over me. Let me see. All right. Dr. Kalipo says NDCs and the incompetent Mahama are not serious at all. They think the president has nothing doing. How many times has the president not come out to say that over my dead body that gay rights will be accepted under between the president's stance or declaration or whatever and the constitution? Which one is supreme? Doctor again says excellent submission by Stallone and Nyarko. You've been tagged, Stallone. You've been tagged. Daniel Akpaliok says LGBTQ plus is strange to our Ghanaian culture and he should not be given a foothold regardless of threats and opposition. It is, however, unfortunate that we have an unprincipled president who places his personal interests ahead of the country. Over 90% of Ghanaians are in support of the passage of this bill, and it is highly unacceptable for President Akufo-Addo and his allies to use executive power to suppress the will of the Ghanaian citizenry. I urge all well-meaning Ghanaians to ensure that the nation builder, JDM, comes back, and this executive suppression will be a thing of the past. Daniel Akpaliok from Sandema. Pajida Akwadai says the abronoma of our time. Keep up the good work, Stallone. Well done. Go you. You're getting a lot of fans here. Right. Ola Mensah says, boss, which country elect the judiciary? I think this is for Ni. Sheick Kobe says, good morning, beautiful ladies. All right, good morning. And that'll be okay. Is it Mabia Damba? Mabia Damba. My greetings to the NDC man in the studio. Okay. Adam Roselyn, please tell MPP man is running away from the matters at hand. Bring him back on the line. He's a smart man, but we those watching are not fools either. What has Mills dying got to do with this? Our former VP died on training ground, and he can even die in the studios where he's making this unnecessary noise. Master Rahman, Tuna, Saola, Tuna, Kalba. All right. Thank you, Adam, for sending this message. All right. So 2024 elections, we are done with the messages, right, from Facebook. 2024 elections, campaign promises. We have heard some campaign promises from the NDC. Let me read a few of them. Campaign promises coming from the NDC. Some Okada, in fact, it's not some Okada riders. Okada riders have been promised electronic rights when voted into power by JDM John Dramani Mahama. We've heard of $50 billion investment in fintech. We've heard of the 24-hour economy as well. And we've heard so many campaign promises. We've heard of hospitals that will be built, universities that will also be built in these new regions that were created under the NPP government. And so with these campaign promises coming from the NDC, is it doable? Now, let's even look at it. The new party saying that the new face of Ghana, they are promising that they will dredge a sea in Kumasi if voted into power. Are some of these campaign promises a little bit too much? Before we go into this topic, we want to take a listen to what Honorable Haruna Idrisu had to say in Parliament with regards to the letter that the Secretary of the President wrote to Parliament.
Because this is a monumental threat to Ghana's democracy and a monumental threat to Parliament as an institution. By Article 93, we are clothed with legislative authority and legislative mandate. This letter only reflects President Nana Addo Dankwa's quest of predominance over other organs of state. That is unacceptable, and that must be fought by all persons who love democracy and who cherish the principles and values of the 1992 Constitution. The framers of our Constitution endowed Ghana with separation of powers, the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, division of powers. It endowed us that Parliament shall be responsible for lawmaking. President Nana Addo Dankwa, first of all, politically, what power does the President Secretary have writing to the Clerk of Parliament, and not the President himself writing directly to the Speaker of Parliament, as is required of our standing order, so that officially this can be read as communication from the President. So ideally, this paper means nothing and should be ignored by the clerk, because communication to Parliament must be communication signed by the President, addressed to the Speaker of Parliament.
What Haruna had to say, Stallone. Anyway, so we've heard what the former minority leader had to say with regards to the letter that was written from the Office of the President to Parliament. Well, like I said earlier, we are delving into our next topic, which happens to be the campaign promises. John Dramani Mahama has made a lot of campaign promises. Is it one too many, or he can actually achieve it? Is it doable? Let me read some of the campaign promises to you. Quickly, and then you get to know. Mahama promises Muslims additional Eid holiday. So the Muslims will get a holiday. Mahama promises to include private schools in free SHS. So private schools will get that as well. 2024 elections, Mahama promises to increase District Assembly Common Fund to 7%. Mahama promises to build universities in 6 new regions. Mahama promises to complete all unfinished projects. Please, Stallone, I'm on the floor. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Good. Mahama promises to complete all unfinished projects in Asante, Akim, Central. Mahama promises not to grant mining permits in forest reserves. Mahama promises to build a petrochemical industry at Jomoro. Mahama promises to stabilize economy if re-elected in 2024. Mahama promises NDC government will institute 20% allowance for rural teachers. Will urgently address bad road network affecting Ghanaians. This is coming from Mahama. Mahama promises to enhance Okada business with electric tricycles, maintains need for legalization. And these and many more are some of the campaign promises that John Dramani Mahama has made to Ghanaians that if elected into power, he will do. Is it achievable, or you think it's just one of the campaign promises that we keep hearing? And let me start this with you, Aryi.
Yes, thank you very much. Interesting I'm starting off this one. Mm-hmm. So you listen to the political aspirants from the MPP and the NDC, and they act as if they are new players to the game. Yes. All these promises is from someone who has actually had the opportunity to serve in the highest capacity. Yes. But what was he able to do with all of those things? It's more like an afterthought. Like I said, it's as if they are playing this game for the first time. This is something we should be hearing from the newbies who are trying to get into the space, not from people who have been in the game for a long time. Like I'm saying, after having 16 years each to serve this country since the beginning of the Fourth Republic, we should have let their works speak for them. Not, I will do this, but say, we have done this. So let me just begin to analyze some of the things that they claim they've done, and on that basis, they're saying we should renew their mandate for them. I'll start with the NDC. So Mr. Mahama says, or His Excellency, former President Mahama says, he's going to give electric vehicles and motorcycles to the Okada riders, yes. First off, it even shows how much he lacks vision. How do you anticipate, or how do you even project that Okada riding is actually a livelihood for someone. To say I'm going to make that livelihood better by giving you electric motorcycles, that's an insult in the first place. People are doing Okada business just because they want to survive. But how do you ride Okada and take care of your family, put your children through school and all of that? I mean, how can you make a life out of riding Okada? That's the first insult.
You don't know how they make a life out of it? Is that what you're saying?
But I'm saying, how can you afford...
Because Okada is very expensive.
True.
Yeah.
But I am saying...
Because I remember very well, I was sending somebody somewhere. The person wanted to board a taxi. The taxi was charging the person 30 cedis. However, because of traffic, the person decided to board Okada, charge 50 cedis.
Right.
So they make money.
But I'm saying, how do you make a livelihood out of that? If you gave those boys...
If I'm making 50 cedis...
But I wish you let me...
I know, but no,
Yes.
I'm just making a point.
Right.
If I'm making 50 cedis...
Would you allow... If your children grew... No, but I'm not looking down on them. I'm saying this.
That's what you do.
If your children came back to you at home and said their ambition was that they want to ride Okada when they grow up, is that going to be a positive affirmation from you?
If it's going to make money.
No, but then let's be realistic here.
I'm speaking the truth.
You cannot make... You see, I am saying this. We should be looking at better opportunities for employment for the youth, not trying to confine them to the space of riding Okada. And I'm saying if you ask most of the Okada riders,
I think
then that space...
My issue happens to be us looking down on these jobs because every job is a job.
Not exactly. We have decent jobs. We have dignifying jobs.
Who should do the decent one and who should do the other one?
If we had a robust transportation system, you wouldn't be riding Okada. It would have been a personal choice if you wanted to. But I'm saying because people don't have... You see, he was saying because he was trying to deliver something, he couldn't get on time. That's why he jumped on Okada. Trust me, if we had an efficient transportation system, people would not choose an Okada over a railway system. It's impossible. It doesn't make sense.
Well, this is what we have. But it's
exactly, and we are having that because of the current system we're having. That people have failed in delivering on their mandate, one, to industrialize, to create more jobs. So people are having to resort to some of these jobs just to survive. But I'm telling you, if you ask those people if that is what they want to be doing in life, trust me, many of them don't want to do this. It's like telling me you're going to find boys who are on the street cleaning windscreens and telling me we're going to give you better mops that you can use to wipe the screens efficiently. That's an insult to them. People are doing those things only because they want to survive, but that is not their ambition. Like I said, if your child came to you and said, I want to be...
You can't compare that to Okada riding.
But let me move on with my submission. So the electric motorcycles that he's trying to promote to the people, you ask, how are we going to meet the electricity demand, right? And it ties in directly to the 24-hour economy. Now, we're having a regular 8-hour shift, right? That is where people go to work in the morning. It's an 8-hour shift. To propose the 24-hour economy means you're suggesting that you're going to have 3 8-hour shifts, right? Now, with the current 8-hour shift, you're not able to meet the energy demand for that 8-hour shift. You can multiply that by 3 in anticipation for the 24-hour economy, where you're going to have 3 8-hour shifts. Means you're going to need at least 3 times the energy demand or supply right now to meet that. What has been their policy concerning energy generation? Technology and capacity. People can argue we have excess generation capacity, but the reason why you're not able to fire on all cylinders is because you're powering those with light crude and natural gas, which is quite relatively expensive, yes. So any meaningful conversations as to the feasibility of a 24-hour economy should be preceded by the arguments concerning energy generation capacity and technology. The Honorable Alan has proposed that we are supposed to invest in nuclear energy and hydrogen energy. That is where some of these things can become feasible. But none of the people who are proposing the 8-hour economy or this electric motorcycles and all those things have made any policy recommendation towards that end. If you look at the NPP, for instance, they have proposed...
You have a minute to go.
Wow. That does include your interjections? I get 30 more seconds to that. No, because you were heckling.
Let's go. I heckle all the time.
No, but
it's just because it's your first time. No, it doesn't. Let's go.
So you look at some of the flagship. I mean, the current administration is in power. So they should have been touting their achievements as to what we have done and what we are looking to continue, not trying to implement or introduce new policies. They have a backlog of a lot of promises they've not delivered on. So not even tackling that, you're making new promises. What's the guarantee that you can even meet any of those? I mean, it's clear for Ghanaians to see. But I am saying, we've given both parties the opportunity to deliver, and it's been one party after the other all this while. They have proven beyond doubt that they cannot deliver. It would be suicidal for Ghanaians to think we can give any of them a chance. And to make sure they understand this, that Ghanaians don't have a short memory, we kicked out the NDC government because we said they were too corrupt, they were incompetent. And because of the level of their incompetence, we actually thought Nanado and the MPP government were going to be any better. But today it's very clear for us to see. You don't go back to what you kicked out in the hopes of it being better.
So the movement for change is
definitely.
Thank you.
Right.
Adel.
Roselyn.
Today I'm timing all of you.
No, but you didn't let me land strong. It was.
I'm sorry.
No, but
darling.
that's fine. That's fine.
Roselyn, first of all, there are various types of jobs for various types of people. There are people that are responsible for coming into your house and then they come and take out your latrine. You have people who are responsible for coming to take out your trash. Would my brother here say that they're not important in any way?
No, don't.
Please.
No, I can't let you. No, hold on.
Please.
I'm sitting right here.
I'm saying, I said, would my brother say?
Right.
Listen to it, please.
Right.
Please.
Right.
I beg you.
I'll be audible because people. No, yes, that's what I'm saying. I won't heckle you until after.
Would he say
Uh-huh.
that, the fact that someone comes home to take out my latrine or someone comes home to take my trash, his job is not important?
No.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So let us not belittle the kind of jobs people decide to do. First of all, cleaning windscreen by the side of the street cannot be compared to an Okada job. Why do I say this? Okada does it in exchange for revenue. And you have to pay him to even sit on the bike. Right? When you walk on the streets, this is someone saying, let me help you.
I'm begging you.
I'm begging you. Let me help you. Let me just wipe it up a little bit for you so you can give me something small. You can't put the two together. Do you know the price of one Okada? It's 10,000 cedis plus. Okay? Mobile money vendors, they need less than 10,000 cedis to start doing something. Okay? So if someone has 10,000, 15, 20,000 to buy a motorbike and says, this is a job I want to do, and has calculated that on a daily basis, this is how much, and funny enough, they make more.
They make more than
the taxi drivers do. In fact, they make more than the Uber drivers do. But you would say, for example, that, Uber is more, it's more, it looks more nicer.
But that's not even decent job. That's what I'm saying.
So,
Russell,
forgot.
I asked a very quick
What
question.
is decent? So, please.
I'm right here, and you're asking what I mean
it's
by
rhetoric.
that.
It's rhetoric.
Also,
Don't take my time.
Right.
Roselyn.
But I'll put it on record. I said you cannot make a livelihood out of that. That's why I made an excuse. I made an example with your children.
Okay,
that
Roselyn,
they wanted to go into that.
Can I have my time?
There are people who
Can I have my
built
time?
houses out of
No, people are surviving on that.
Can I have my time?
Please go ahead.
Right.
The average banker is paid how much? The average worker at ministries is paid how much? How much? Do you know how much? Okay, so 50, these Okada drivers, okay? There are people who are doing online business, who have decided to just take Okada riders, who do deliveries for them, okay? The deliveries, they go back and forth. Some of them are doing close to about 300, 400 cedis a day, 500 cedis a day, just doing delivery. By the time he does from Accra and goes to, Dodowa and comes back, he's already holding 200 Ghana cedis. You're sitting in the office from morning till evening. If you multiply, that is 500 Ghana cedis by the 30 days in a month. How much is that? 5-3.
But what makes you think I'm proposing the office job? I'm not. Why are you making that contrast?
Can you allow Adel, please continue. You have just about 2 minutes to go. So
no problem. So Roselyn, listen. The former president understands the nature of the country and the types of people that we have, and the fact that we need to make sure that we solve every other person's problem. While I'm planning to bring in a 24-hour economy, for which somebody can come and say, I have a degree, I have a master's, I have this, and we say we can pick you up. And an Okada driver who probably says that I have a degree and I have a master's and I can also go and take a job. And another Okada driver who probably doesn't have the certification to go and take that job says that, I'll prefer to stay in this job because of what it makes. What is livelihood? The fact that you can make wage. The fact that you can make your salary, you can make your money, you can take care of your family. There are people who have bought these Okadas, given to young people to work with, and they are benefiting from it. They sit down and they laugh. He says, look, I'm not going to license, people mining in our forest areas. Should you have a problem with that? Should you have a problem with the fact that somebody says, I don't want our waters to get messed up. I don't want us losing our trees. I don't want children being born in central region without limbs. Is that a problem? The man says, no, leave that. I want to do a 24-hour economy. They say, it's not possible. The courts have indicated to you that it's possible. The judiciary has taken the tone just by somebody making a statement. Even before he's president, he's made a statement. He's turned our minds to something, and somebody's already sitting there and saying, the judiciary says, look, let's do 2 shifts. Let's do morning, end by 1:30. Let's do 2 o'clock and end at 6:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m., the courts are sitting. This is what we're saying. We're telling you someone is sitting down and giving you ideas on how to move on. Finally, the issue of whether there is money to do it. Who told you there's no money, Roselyn? Who told you? The funds are available. In fact, what we left for them, as compared to what we had, it is nowhere close to each other. All this government has to do is nip themselves in the bud and stop certain expenditures.
Okay.
So wait, just in a second. Roselyn, listen. Our loans, and I keep saying this, our loans plus our revenues was less than 400 billion. Their loans and their revenues is running into 1.3, 1.4 trillion. This is what we're saying. Ghana cedis, not old currency. Ghana cedis. Who told you there's no money?
Okay. Thank you. Stallone.
Roselyn, sometimes when Highlands, and again, when I come on this route, I restrain myself heavily.
Stallone, you have barely
when
5
Highlands
minutes to go.
of John Dramani Mahama, people who believe in John Dramani Mahama, sit on national television and pontificate on these matters, you ask yourself, where are we towards? Kennedy Japan will say, where are we towards? Because it's striking. Who is speaking? NDC communicator. Come here to come and tell us.
Stallone.
I'm coming now.
Stallone, go.
I'm setting the tone for
don't set tone that will bring anger. Go on the question.
Well,
do you think that he can achieve
Roselyn,
what he has to achieve?
It seems you always want to.
No, because you see, I don't want us attacking.
I'm not attacking. He's come here.
He came to represent NDC. He's doing what he has to do. Go ahead and represent NPP.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm coming. That's why I said these are my comments. Who is speaking?
You know NDC man is speaking. Go ahead and make your point, please.
Somebody who believes in John Dramani.
Go ahead and make your point. You
And
believe in Baumia, you believe in Anado Dankwa.
Roselyn,
Go into your comments, please.
The
Thank
topic
you.
you've tabled is about John Mahama's promise.
Yes, but don't
Unless
say
you don't
who
want
is
us to
speaking.
talk about
If you say who is speaking, it's as though you know who is speaking.
I want to
Go
remind
ahead
you
and
because it's surprising.
We all know who is speaking.
It is
Please go ahead and
surprising.
make your point, Stallone. Thank you very much.
And Roselyn, I laugh for some of these things. You are laughing yourself. When you were mentioning the promises, everybody in the studio was laughing.
Go ahead and make your point.
Everybody was laughing because that is how it appears. Really. This is a man who was handed an oil economy that was growing 14%. He was handed an oil economy that was growing 14%. When he left, he had run it down to 3.4%. Ultimately, oil sika manika dumpi. Oil revenues. Ultimately, manika dumpi. Today, he's making promises. Go into the NDC manifesto. 2012 manifesto. The manifesto he ran on to win the 2012 elections. In that manifesto, he promised that the Omina fishing harbour, he was going to build it. And you know the striking bit, from 2009, that very project appeared on every single budget statement by NDC finance ministers. It took a President Akufo-Addo to build the Omina fashion harbour. John Dramani Mahama, former president, in the heat of the 2020 election, stood in Omina, what you say I shouldn't do. And that is why sometimes I do it. He called the president Sakawa. Said the Omina fishing harbour was a Sakawa promise by the president. And when we come here and refer him to some of those things he does, you take this question. Roselyn, I don't take those matters lightly. He, the former president himself, has gained notoriety for using words. He's describing the president as Jack Toronto, calling his promises Sakawa. Who is more Sakawa than John Dramani Mahama when it comes to promises? Omina fishing harbour. He says the whole sitting president's promise is Sakawa. Since 2009, you couldn't build it. It was in his 2012 manifesto. When you talk about promises and unfulfilled promises, I think former President Mahama epitomizes everything. And I'm not surprised that he has preempted or prepared the minds of Ghanaians. That means the things I say, they don't hold water, don't even add any value to them. Because when I come into office, the situation, aside that, that's what he's trying to say, Don't hold any high hopes. It is messed up. I can't do anything. But even when he's giving this, look at the litany of promises. And Adel asked here that word, promising not to license mining in forest reserves. Should it be problematic? You see, if not for the stinking politics we do in this country, these are things everybody has been talking about. But when John Dramani Mahama promises that I won't license mining in forest reserves.
You have 1 minute to go.
His national communications officer and the head of the Minerals Commission, the people who oversee these things, will stand in forest mining areas ahead of 2020 elections and tell galamseyers in their faces, Roselyn, Tony Obin, head of the Minerals Commission, Kwaku Buahen, NDC National Communications Officer, 2020 election, went into the forest where the galamsey people said, Ochina Mahama Baya Mubetu.
Okay.
Please.
All right, so your time is up, Stallone. Thank you so much. Oh, my God. I really, wow. All right, let me see if I can read a few of them. Hello, ma'am. Thank you for great work and kudos to your guests. I think your MPP guests should research on Okada business as a livelihood to have a better understanding. I have an Okada business as a side hustle and it's a decent
He represents movement for change.
So, she has the bikes.
Roselyn Felli, people blame you for interjecting the MPP guy because he's not making any sense in his submissions. He was making sense. So, good morning, Roselyn. The MPP guy thinks he knows it all. Talking too much doesn't make you a sensible person. He should be critical thinker. Father from Asamankese. The MOC guy too. What's up? So, do you want the Okada riders to go and steal and survive? Right? To be serious. Father from Asamankese. All right.
Was he listening?
No, for them there.
Please, the kind of messages coming.
Arrogance.
On this note, we have ended news flash segments today. I beg you. We have ended. A big thank you to my guests for being here. Adel, Umar, Ibrahim, thank you so much for being here. Stallone, Nyarko, thank you. And Aryi, thank you so much. This is all time will permit us. Probably next week when we come, we'll have more time. So up next is what's trending. We have to quickly